Hi there, Nick here. This is a tutorial that's designed to show you how to take footage that you've captured of yourself in the SES Sign Language Lab and take that footage into iMovie and then into iDVD to create a DVD. This tutorial is designed for Kelly Owens' class in particular, but you're welcome to use this for other projects if you're using these similar tools. One caveat, I'm here on my personal computer in my office that doesn't have the same setup exactly that you're having in the Sign Lab. So what I've done is taken some screen captures that I took from up there to sort of replicate the process for the beginning, but I do have iMovie and iDVD on this computer, so it should be pretty similar. Let me get my face off here. So the first step is going to be you're going to click on after you log into your computer, you're going to click on this icon right here, the A icon. Then once you click on that, you're going to see a big window pop up. It's going to look like this. And depending on how your computer is set up, you might have to scroll down the side to get to SES Tools. So then you're going to click there on SES Tools. Next, you're going to go to, once you click on SES Tools, this is the window that will pop up. And you're going to select Video Capture right here. Looks like a robot with holding some type of large object above video capture, so you'll click on that, and then you're going to be asked to give your video capture some type of name. I'd recommend using this type of format, and be sure to list what the clip actually is. So let's talk right here about sort of the logistics or the workflow of putting this project together. My recommendation is that you're going to record a separate clip for each clip that you want to have on the DVD. So I think the assignment is for about 25 different clips. So what I would do is I would have a different video capture for each clip. So let's pretend I'm doing one on greetings, and the first clip that I want to have is how to say hello in ASL. So I've put my name in here and I've put in hello. The next thing that's going to happen is QuickTime is going to pop up and the webcam is going to turn on, and it's going to start recording immediately. And as we talked about in the class, it's a good idea to give yourself space on both ends. And so what I would do is I would probably count to 3, and then to myself, probably not out loud, and then start with the sign that I want to demonstrate. You can do the sign twice if you like. Some people like to do that, as we saw in the examples. And then I would count maybe 3, 2, 1 to myself again before I hit the stop button on the QuickTime player. So as soon as you hit the stop button, it's sort of the computer is going to spool the video and compress it a little bit, and it's going to look like this. So this is the video I just created. It's going to have the date when you created it, the time, and your name and whatever title that you gave it. So what I would recommend doing is as soon as you create that clip, that you go in and you can either double click the title area very quickly and change it, or you can click on the control button and click on it with your mouse if you want to change the title. And I would recommend doing that. So I would change it to just the title that you want to use. So for this one, since I'm showing how to use hello, I took that whole big title that I had before that the machine created, and I changed it just to hello. So I would do this 25 times, or however many times you wanted, how many different clips you have, and so you would eventually have a bunch of stuff here on your desktop. So what I would do then is if you right click, you're going to get this option to create a new folder. So what I would do, I would think about sort of the structure that I want to have for my videos when I'm in iDVD. So I'm going to create, let's say I want to have on the main page, I'm going to have 4 folders. And maybe the first one is going to cover basic greetings, and then maybe conversational tips or common sayings. Let's say common sayings. And then basic goodbyes maybe. don't know if that's spelled right or not, but I told you my first language was Greek, so let's see, and then maybe other helpful sayings. These aren't great examples, but you get the idea. So on your DVD, you're going to have a menu that's going to select, you're going to click on one of those options, and then you're probably going to go within that, you're going to see 5 or 6 or 7 basic greetings, and you're going to click on each one of those. So what I would do is I would drag, I would do the 25 clips of all these different things, and then I would drag each of them into the appropriate folder. And so it sort of gets you set up before you even get into iMovie and iDVD, which is nice. Okay, so you've got these, so let's pretend you've recorded all of your videos and you've put them in the correct categories here. It's time to open up iMovie. So the iMovie icon looks like this. It's a star with a camera inside. I think most people are familiar with that. So this is what the iMovie interface looks like. When you first open it, you're going to see the project area is up here in the top left, and then your event library is down here. And anything you play in either area is going to be projected in this screen right here. For my preference, I like the project area to be down here. That's just sort of the convention that you see in other video editing programs, and so it's sort of counterintuitive to have it the other way. So I switch those around. The way that you can always tell what the project area is when you see these little boxes with the little dots around them. So how do you bring in your content? What I would recommend doing is bring in the clips one at a time and export them one at a time. This way you're going to have sort of a built-in backup in case there's problems. I mean, I would hate for you to bring in all of your clips and then have to sort through them all here in the event library, which can be sort of cumbersome. So what we're going to do, you can't drag and drop into this area, unfortunately. So what you have to do is go under File and then Import and Movies. Now this is, I've got my flash drive selected here, but this would be more than likely on your desktop. So you would just select here and click Desktop right there. But since I don't have that fancy video capture on my computer down here, I'm going to have to use this way. So I'm going to select the file that I want to import, and I want to create a new event. I'm going to call this the DVD project. The other thing you want to keep it at is large. Large is plenty big. You could go to, if you go to full, then it's going to take up more space and take more time for you to export into iMovie and then to burn the disk in iDVD, excuse me. So stay with large, and then you want to make sure Copy Files is selected right there. So there's the file. There's the clip. What I can do, let me maximize this out a little bit so we have a little more place to work. What I can do is I can watch the clip up here. So I'm going to click this and hit the space bar. And over here, well, I don't know if you can see this. So over here in this area, that's where I'm watching the clip. So this look of confusion probably isn't what you want to have at the beginning of this clip. So what I'm going to do is go back here to right before I throw up my hand. I'm probably supposed to use my right hand for hello in ASL. That's the only sign I know, and I screwed it up. And then I'm going to hit delete. So now this clip starts where I want it to. Oh, you can't see that. Let me move this back over. So there I was saying hello. Tried a little Vulcan thing at the end. Let me cut that last part off. But you can see how it's beneficial to sort of have a little bit of time at the beginning and then at the end, because it's really easy to to delete stuff you don't need. It's almost too easy sometimes. So yeah, let me give another space there. And then hit delete. So this is what my clip looks like. Okay, looks great to me. So now I'm going to drag that. I'm going to select all this. I'm going to drag this down to the project area. And we can watch it again if we want. That's how good it is. So then the thing you're going to want to do is add some subtitles to sort of, I think that's part of the project, to describe what you're signing. I mean, if this is going to be a teaching tool, I think that's a great idea. Because if people aren't fluent in ASL, they're maybe not get as much out of it if you don't subtitle it. So to do that, we're going to click on this little T button right here that represents our titling tool. I guess T is for titling. And then you have a variety of different text options that you have. I'm going to just go with a simple lower third or lower. Let's go with the lower. I'm going to drag this and drop it over here. And sometimes problems that I've seen, students will have this thing switched around like this, and they'll be like, they won't have anything up here. They'll be like, well, I can't drag and drop this over here. It just won't take it. You're only going to be able to drag and drop the title when it's in the project area. So keep that in mind. That's a real time saver. If you're not bumping your head against the wall trying to figure out why you can't get the text to show up. So I'm going to type in hello. If you know how many seconds you want it to be, you can adjust that right here. Let's say I want this up for 3 seconds. And I can watch it again. Hello. Vulcan's fine. So yeah, you would just do that. Your clip might be a little bit longer and probably is going to say something a little more complicated than hello, but that's the process. So now I've got this is my first clip. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go over here to share. I'm going to click export movie, and I want to do large, and I'm going to call this hello. And what I would do is I want to put this in the folders that we created earlier. So I'm going to put this in on my desktop. There we go. And so call that hello. I've got large selected and export. So what this is doing is sort of splitting this up, so at no time do you have a lot of time invested in iMovie or an iDVD. And so what you want to do ideally is in this basic greetings area is not only have the one that you're exporting from iDVD, but also have the original one. And what I would also recommend doing is that you're copying this stuff onto a flash drive. That way the computer's in a shared lab environment. It shouldn't erase your stuff or anything should happen to it, but it's always best to back the stuff up if you can. And these files are small enough that you're going to be able to put all of them on a flash drive. So this is the version without the titles, and this is the version with the titles. Basically, we're using iMovie to sort of cut it down and add titles. That's really all we're using it for. So now I've got this M4V file, and that's what I exported from iMovie. So you would do this 25 more times or 24 more times if you have 25 clips with all the other clips that you would do. So if I wanted to do this again, pretend I have another clip, I can create a new event and I'll call this one goodbye. And then delete this. It says you have modified your project. You will need to share or finalize it again to finish editing. So say, okay, that's fine with me. One thing to note, there's this finalize project option here. You want to stay away from that. Finalize project is going to put your project into 3 or 4 different formats for different distribution methods. So it's going to put one for like iDVD, it's going to do one for iMovie, for YouTube, it's going to do one for a mobile device, and these are all things you don't need because we're just going to put this on a DVD. So stay away from finalize project. So I've got the goodbye here. I'm going to go ahead and import the video for goodbye. Go to File, Import, Movies, and I would go to the desktop or the folder. If you're good, you've already put all these in the folder, the appropriate folder that we talked about earlier. Pretend this says goodbye, and it says goodbye in there, and click Import. And you follow the same process. You trim the clip to what you want it to be, drag it down here into the project area, you drag these whatever of these titling tools you want to add to over there, you'd subtitle it, and then you would go to share. Well, I guess I can't share without having something in the project area. You go to share, export movie, large, make sure you're in the right folder, and then give it the name that you want it to be. So just do that 23 more times. And now, once you've done that step, like I said, I would keep all this stuff backed up on your flash drive. So you would just copy all these folders onto your flash drive. So this is how you could split it up if you wanted to. So say you have maybe a couple hours, and so you're going to go in there and record all the clips. You're going to bring them into iMovie, subtitle them, and then export that. And then that's a good stopping point if you want. And again, I would back up all these files onto your flash drive. And then the next time you come in, when you have some time, you're going to pull up iDVD, which looks like this. So iDVD, when you first open it up, it's going to show you all the 7.0 themes. And as I mentioned in the class, what you want to do is sort of stay away from the ones that have as much all the movement to them. And if you actually select one that does have movement, like this one, you can preview it by hitting this play button right here. It has this amazing soundtrack that goes with it. But what you can do is you can right click on here and go to Show Inspector Window, and then I can delete the music and then pull this over here to take off the loop duration. And now when I hit play, there's a little bit of right at the beginning, but it doesn't continue to do it, which is going to save you a lot of time when you're burning the DVD. The other thing I would recommend is these are drop zones, these areas right here. I would stay away from adding video to these drop zones. The video is going to sort of redundant, is sort of going to show what's going to be within the clips anyway, and it really doesn't add a lot except more time to burn, and sometimes it's more laborious on the computer or DVD player to play. So if you don't want to use video clips, how do you sort of personalize your DVD? Well, I'm glad you asked. I like to use a program. Let me open up a new window here. I like to use a program called, or a website called CompFight. So just go to Google and do CompFight. What CompFight is, it's the Flickr search tool. It makes it really easy to look for Creative Commons images. So say maybe I'm doing a cafeteria deal and I want an orange. It's always helpful to spell properly. What you're going to do, you're going to type it in there and then make sure you click Creative Commons right here. So you're only seeing Creative Commons. So we've got everything from an orange fish to a sunflower to a butterfly. Let's see if I can find orange fruit on here. I know over here on the left you're seeing those, but those are in fact proprietary or ones that you're supposed to pay for. Well, let's see. I'm surprised they don't have an orange fruit on here. There it is. I guess I had to be a little bit more descriptive. So say I like this picture. That looks appetizing. So I'm going to go see what rights they have reserved. I can distribute and transmit the work or adapt it. So that's cool. So let me the easiest way for me to download stuff is to go here. You click that magnifying glass right there, and then you click view all sizes. And for our purposes, like this medium size, it's about 600 by 640, that's going to be plenty. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click, you can either right click here, save image as, or click there to download it, and it'll download it to your download folder. Sometimes it's easier for me to just do save image as, because I can tell it exactly where I want to put it. So let's say I want to put it there. I want to put it in my basic greetings folder. And let me call this orange so I know what the TikTok is. So yeah, you can do that and find all kind of amazing pictures that way. So now let's say I want to add that orange into there, into this drop zone right here. I don't know why you would put that into a sunflower middle, but I guess stranger things have happened. So let me open up my downloads folder. And then I'm going to drag this thing into this drop zone. Bam, I got a new orange in there. So if you don't like oranges, you can put apples or grapes or people or whatever you like into your drop zones. So that's sort of a neat thing that adds a lot, I think, if you can add media to it. But again, I would recommend using still images versus video. Okay, so you designed your menu the way you like it here. So what we need to do is we're going to need to add some submenus, because we're going to have actually a number of menus. We're at least going to have 5 menus, I think, because we got this main menu, and then we want to add a number of submenus. So let's do, if you go click on this little icon right here, you can sort of see, they call it a DVD map, and it sort of shows you the layout. So let me do, I'll need to add a submenu. So I'm going to go under Project and then add submenu. I'm going to add 4 submenus, because I've got 4 areas that I need to include. So let's call this one, well, okay, so I'm going to call this submenu Greetings. Wow, it's a little bit too much. Let me go here and chill out with that looping around. And the volume was, you probably didn't hear it, but it was sort of some music I wasn't really feeling. Wow, that's a lot of movement. So yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend this particular one just because there's a lot of movement in there. But we'll stay with it for demonstration purposes. So there's my submenu. Oh, there's my main menu. Let's see. What is going on? Oh, okay. Wow, this is intense. So here are my different submenus. That's the greetings one. So let me go back, hit stop. And rename this one greetings. And then rename this second one common phrases. I don't remember if that's what the folder is called or not, but bear with me. Yeah, let me go back. So the key is to link these things, or figure out which one is which. So that's common phrases. So I'm going to go back to there. And then I don't think I've given this one a name yet, so let's call this one Goodbyes. So the third one is Goodbyes. And then let's call the fourth one Conversation Tips, maybe. I don't know. And then when you click on that, change it there as well. Okay, so now if we hit this play button, goodness gracious, I know I've got to chill out with that somehow. Let's see if that did it. Yeah, I don't hear any music this time. Yeah, it's not quite as long. That's better. So then I guess you click on here. So here we've got greetings, common phrases, goodbyes, conversation tips. And I would recommend that you have this on the first page just because it's a lot easier. The less pages you have, the easier it is to get around. So let's see where we've got. It looks like every page in between has this silly motion in it. So we look. Okay, so that's basically what the map is going to look like. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to the greetings area, and you're going to find your file that's MP4. So let me move this like there so you can see what I'm doing. So here's my MP4 for hello with the subtitles on it. And then I can preview, make sure that's looking real smooth. Lovely. So then yeah, you would basically do that for each clip that you want to add into this area. So you could eventually have 6 or 7 clips under this greetings area. And then each subsequent area would have 5 or 6 clips, and that's how you get up to 25 clips. So this would be your main menu, and then you would just select from there which submenu you would want to go to. And then your submenu would have this 5 or 6 clips that you would need to access. I think one of the other things I showed you, this menu doesn't have it, but sometimes if you go, let's hit stop. Some of these have the Apple icon over here in the bottom right. I think I might have turned it off on this one. But if you don't want to have that Apple icon, you can go under iDVD and then Preferences and then uncheck this box. So the default is to have that box checked, but I prefer to not have that. But you do whatever makes you feel good. So let's say you've got all your stuff set up in here. Your menu's looking great. You've previewed it. You've got a good main page that describes all the other things that you need to get to, and you're happy with the way all those things look. You've taken out the motion. You've added in still images to your drop zones that are appropriate for the particular menu that you're demonstrating. You're ready to burn your DVD. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in a DVD. Let me go ahead and put in a DVD so you can see what it's going to look like. And you're going to hit this button. Right now it looks like one of those old change purses. When you click on it, all of a sudden it looks like a radioactive symbol. So it's going to ask there are warnings and project validation. So let's look at see what they're talking about. There's an empty drop zone in your project. So that's because I didn't complete the whole project. The drop zones are areas where you can put pictures, and so you would probably want to make sure that you did fill all those up. So it's good to read the warnings if you have any, and address them before burning if you don't want to go through a bunch of DVDs. So I'm going to say that's fine, continue burning. It's going to process the menus, and this is where I was talking about. If you use one that has a lot of motion and you leave a lot of motion in there, it's going to take a long time to do this process. If you're see this video, because of that one at the beginning has got all that crazy motion. I only have one clip in there, but it's taken 17 minutes. That's just to give you an idea. But yeah, it's going to do this, and then it's going to do any slideshows you have. You're probably not going to use that, and then it's going to process the movies, and finally it's going to burn the product. So this is what the message that you'll get when it's done. It said it was going to take 18 or 17 minutes. Excuse me, I think it took more, around 12 or 15. But yeah, you can see the menus are what takes so much time with these things. So that's why I'm trying to give you strategies to sort of minimize the menus and not have so much motion, so you're not sitting in the lab waiting an hour or 2 hours for it to burn. But yeah, I hope this has been helpful for you. Please feel free to let Kelly know if you're having any trouble, and she can forward the questions on to me, and I'll be happy to help you with it. Take care, and best of luck with this project.